Most of your energy will go to equalization. What stops you, the limiting factor from going deeper, will be the inability to clear your ears. So in this video, we're going to discuss 10 common equalization mistakes and how to fix them. Coming up. What's up guys, in this video 10 common equalization mistakes. If you're new to this channel, my name is Gert Leroy, helping you master freediving. And honestly, when I started freediving, my life just simply changed for the better. Freediving gave me a space, a way to relax my mind and let go of all my tension. I have found my peace. And now I want you to find your peace through the practicing of freediving. So if you like the idea, consider subscribing and hit the notification bell. Mistake number 1, relying too much on Valsalva technique.
We put the hand on the diaphragm here, and if there's any movement while you're equalizing, you're doing something called Valsalva. That means to say you're using your diaphragm to push air up towards your ears. This does not work in freediving. The reason it doesn't work is very simple, because we go down in a head-down position. Therefore, when we're upside down, the diaphragm is higher than our ears. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that that's the bottom up there. If I equalize and I'm going down, I'm pushing air with my diaphragm up towards my ears. That's a distance of about 60 centimeters in the average male person. That's working against an enormous amount of water pressure.
Alright, so if you go deeper, you have to use more force, and it's just not relaxed anymore. So at some point, Valsalva stops. So you might as well learn a gentle way of equalization, which would be the Frenzel equalization from the start. Why would you invest time in doing and learning the Valsalva maneuver if you know that at some point in your freediving journey it will stop and you will have to switch anyway to Frenzel? Once you have figured Frenzel out, then it's just easier, it's more gentle, it's just better. By the way guys, let me know in the comments if you're using Valsalva right now or Frenzel. Mistake number 2, not practicing dry equalization.
So why do dry equalization training? Well, one reason is that you can do it anywhere. You don't need access to depth or any special training equipment. Any moment is the right moment for dry equalization training. You can do it driving to work, you can do it in the elevator. Do it driving to work, you can do it in the elevator, you can do it waiting in line at the shops, you can do it in bed.
Any place is a good place. You can do it anywhere. You can even do it in the elevator. So there's lots of dry exercises that you can do, but me personally, I like to keep it simple. Simple? Keep in mind that this video is about Frenzel equalization and not about mouthfill. Mouthfill is an advanced technique for which there are other dry exercises which we are not discussing in this video. This is about simple Frenzel for beginners, let's say from 0 to 30, 35 meters. So what kind of exercises can you do? Well, go stand in front of the mirror and try to Frenzel, putting your hand on your abdominal region. If you do Valsalva, then your abdomen will move, so you know you're not doing Frenzel. Frenzel happens from here and above. There is nothing on your abdominal region that moves. So if it does move, then you know you're doing it wrong. Second, pay attention to your Adam's apple. When you do Frenzel, your Adam's apple goes up. If you're seeing your Adam's apple going up, you're probably doing it right. It's probably Frenzel. Still in the mirror, check the pressure. When you pinch your nose from beneath, you can see the pressure building up in your nostrils. Or when you're pinching from the top like this, you can see pressure building up on your cheeks or your mouth. So that's how you know you're pushing air from here towards your eustachian tubes. There's pressure building up here. So when you're doing this, you should feel your ears pop. So if you don't feel this, you're probably not equalizing. So then what you can do is imagine squeezing your throat. Now, squeezing your throat, that is more something that helps you to trigger a certain movement, but it's not what actually happens. What actually happens is that the back of your tongue will go up. The problem is, if you tell someone, hey, try to lift the back of your tongue, this will probably not happen. If you would have told me as a beginner, try to lift the back of your tongue, I would be like, how the hell am I going to do this? But what worked for me, and it's more a thing about your brain understanding a certain command and translating this into an actual movement. So when I visualized squeezing my throat, I could actually lift the back of my tongue and I equalized. This was my personal breakthrough in Frenzel. Mistake number 3, not equalizing frequently enough. Let's first take a look at what some of my followers are saying about this topic. In general, it is one of my weakest areas. To me, the speed of equalization and comfort is directly related to a diver's skill level. You can almost tell how good someone is by their speed doing this. I agree, although I would not emphasize the word speed too much, because it's not a speed contest, it's more about gentle equalization. But yes, if you can frequently equalize in a gentle way, that is of course a sign that you know how to equalize equalize and you master the art of equalization. If you struggle between each equalization, then you will obviously equalize not so fast, and then you have to work on your skills. So yes, it is about speed, but then again, it's not about that's not how fast we equalize either. I would say every meter, maybe in the beginning every half a meter, we equalize, something like this. My mistake would probably be equalizing a little bit late, and it's very difficult to even painful to catch up. So it's usually best for me to pre-equalize and preempt the pressure sensation from my ears. Absolutely. So when I talk about frequently equalizing, all of this starts with equalizing at the surface. So before you even do your duck dive, you're going to equalize once, and then you start your duck dive. Now a duck dive is a very technical something to execute, so there's a lot you have to think about, a lot of coordination. And when this duck dive is finished, the first thing you should do is immediately equalize. Because if you look at the footage, I am 1.84 meters. So if you add the length of my fins to this, I am at least 2 meters. So when my fins go underwater, my head is at least 2 meters underwater already. So that means that between my first equalization on the surface and my second equalization, which happens right after I finish my duck dive, I already covered a distance of 2 meters. Remember, I just said you should equalize every meter. So during a duck dive, that's pretty difficult actually. You have a gap of about 2 meters. So immediately after the duck dive, you're going to equalize. And that is why the start of your dive is the most difficult part of your equalization. Mistake number 4, looking at the bottom. Let's have a look at what someone on my channel said about this. Head position, that was a game changer for me, man. Whenever I went down, I used to look at the bottom, and that occluded my eustachian tubes, so I couldn't compensate. The moment a good old instructor corrected that, my EQ problems were fixed immediately. So this is what I said about looking down in a previous video I made. Now the biggest mistake I see beginning freedivers make is the body position. Most people, they go into what I call the banana shape. It puts a lot of stress on the muscles in your neck, and for equalization you need to be relaxed, especially in your neck, you know. Now another reason why this is counterproductive is very mental. When you are looking where you're going, you are already focusing on what's happening next, and you forget about the moment itself. Mistake number 5, forcing equalization. The beauty of freediving is when you gently can equalize, because when you come to that point that equalization is no longer an issue, that it just happens automatically and gently, then you can focus on all the rest, which is just being in harmony with the water and enjoying just the art of freediving without having to worry about equalization. So in the beginning that's a bit difficult, of course, because first you have to acquire that skill. Equalization is a skill, you have to learn this skill, but once you master the skill, that's when freediving becomes absolutely something phenomenal. As a beginner, you will sometimes force equalization, and that's normal. I mean, don't stress about it. We've all been in that place. Just know that with time and with patience, you will get to that point that equalization becomes more gentle. Why do you want equalization to be more gentle? Because pushing it hard, forcing air towards your ear, it messes with relaxation. And when you're not relaxed, you're using more oxygen, and when you use more oxygen, you can't hold your breath that long. It's also not a healthy thing to force equalization, because you can easily damage the delicate structures inside of your ear. So if you want to protect your ears, you better learn to gently equalize. Mistake number 6, not equalizing the mask or having the mask too tight on your face. As you dive deeper, the pressure builds up, of course, that's why we have to equalize the ears, but also pressure inside of your mask, the airspace that is inside of your mask gets compressed by this by the water from outside. So if you do not equalize your mask, then eventually this mask will get sucked upon your face, and it's a bit like an octopus is sitting on your face trying to suck out your eyeballs. It messes with your relaxation and it makes it more difficult to equalize. So equalize your mask on the way down by gently blowing a little bit of air through your nose into your mask, and also make sure that your mask is not too tight on your face. Just make sure that the seal is good enough to stay on your face, but not tighter. Mistake number 7, not relaxing enough. Now, everything in freediving basically comes down to relaxation, right? But I mean, you have to show a beginner what it means, relaxation. You can't just tell someone, hey, you should relax, and then everything works. You have to give people advice that they can actually execute in order to achieve this relaxation. So when we take a look at this footage, we can see that the legs are pretty much straight. So when you see straight legs, that is almost always a sign of not being relaxed. When the legs are relaxed, they are flexed in the knees. They have a little bend, a little angle in the knees. So when you see straight legs, you already know that your student is not relaxed enough. It is very difficult to equalize equalize when your body is tensioned up. You have to relax your body, your legs, your arms, your chest, and especially everything that goes on here, your throat, your mouth, oral cavity, everything in here, your tongue, you have to relax. So specifically pay attention to your mouth and your tongue. Let your tongue just rest in your mouth. So make sure you're not pushing your tongue against the top of your mouth or somewhere else. Make sure everything is relaxed here. Now relaxation can only come when you start mastering a skill. I would say that relaxation comes with confidence, and confidence comes with the mastering of skills. So how can you master a skill? It is by diving and diving and diving. Keep on diving until you master the skill, and then the confidence will come, and then the relaxation will come. Don't chase a technique. People forget that equalization is 99% about relaxation and feeling comfortable. If you're struggling with equalization, the fastest way to learn is to find a buddy, go out to a 10-meter line and dive, dive, dive. Don't push it and hurt yourself. Don't overthink it and relax. Without the relaxation, you have nothing. Mistake number 8, practicing other disciplines than free immersion. When your equalization is not on point yet, I advise you to focus on free immersion and not on other disciplines. And why is that? Because free immersion is a very relaxed discipline. The only thing you have to do is just pull the rope, and for the rest you can perfectly concentrate on equalization. Imagine if you're doing no fins and you have to think about your arm stroke and the legs and the whole coordination, or monofin, you have to think about this dolphin kick. It's just too difficult. There's too many things going on, and when you do free immersion you have the time to put your focus on equalization. Also, when you are in touch with the rope and equalization would at a certain point stop or get more difficult, you can perfectly stop yourself just by holding on to the rope or slowing down yourself. So it's very easy to regulate your speeds when you're in touch with the rope. Now, that being said, me myself, I have found out that doing bifins is actually a very good discipline to focus fully on my equalization, because when you do bifins, you're only moving your legs and your whole chest is just motionless. So the less movement you have here, the easier it is to equalize. Now, I would say that this is more an advanced thing, because most beginners are not that relaxed doing bifins, because they still have to master the duck dive. The duck dive is the beginning of your discipline of constant weight bifins. If you do not master your duck dive yet, if you are not yet comfortable duck diving, then you're going to spend a lot of energy there, and you're going to be tensioned up just by doing this duck dive, just by even thinking about it. So probably for beginners, bifins might not be the ideal discipline to focus on your equalization. But hey, everyone is different. But if you feel confident doing bifins, then you might give it a try. I would even say that your upper body is more still than during free immersion, because in free immersion you're moving your arms, so you're moving this, and in bifins your arms are just next to your body and this is motionless. So the less movement you have here, the easier it is to equalize. Mistake number 9, not analyzing what went wrong. When you dive and you equalize and you experience some kind of problem, when you go back up, you have to think about this. You do not learn anything if you come back up to the surface and you immediately forget about what happened there. No, you have to analyze everything so that you know what happened there, and on your next dive you can try something else or you can tweak it a little bit. If you're not sure about what happened, then you just dive again and then you assess what happened there. So bit by bit you go analyzing, you go thinking about what happened, and eventually you come up with something that you can remember, something that you can execute again, and if it works, then that becomes your method, your standard to equalize. And when you want to master this equalization, when you want to get it better, when you want to tweak things, and you're going to change little things about that standard that you have set for yourself, that standard, that way of equalization that works for you. Does that make sense? And if all of that still doesn't work, then try feet first. And that's mistake number 10, not trying feet first. Doing free immersion feet first is a wonderful way to get comfortable underwater and to try out new ways of equalization. Now, I know that some instructors might be a little bit negative about this. They call, feet first is not real free diving and it's not how you're supposed to free dive. Who cares? I'm not saying that you have to feet first free dive all the time. It's just a tool. It's an exercise that you can use when you feel it's necessary, just to try out something else and to make you comfortable underwater. Just to give you a little example, when I did my first courses a couple of years ago, I couldn't equalize head first, but I could equalize very well feet first. I went to 30 meters on only my 4th session of freediving. How cool was that? Now, I struggled a lot equalizing head first, but that didn't matter because I already went to 30 meters feet first, so I had huge confidence and I was just convinced, and I knew that one day I would just figure out how to equalize head first. If you can only equalize feet first in the beginning of your freediving journey, then embrace it. It's perfectly normal and it can teach you a lot of things. Mistake number 11. Oh no, I was only going to give 10. So this is the bonus mistake, not having enough patience.
What's hurting you is your own judgment on yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
And that comes from lack of patience. Like, give time.
Anyone can learn to freedive, anyone can learn to equalize, so don't be too hard on yourself. Learning to freedive is not a contest. It is not something that you have to be better at than someone else. You are in this game of freediving to learn something about yourself, to make progress, independent of all the other people. Some people, they can just naturally equalize. They don't have to learn anything. They can just go down. They don't even know what they're doing and they can equalize. I mean, okay, I'm a bit jealous of those people. I'm not one of them. I had to learn it the hard way. But the good news is you will learn it eventually. Give yourself time. Enjoy the process and one day you'll figure it out. And if you have in the beginning of your freediving journey problems with equalization, guess what? If you become an instructor, you'll be a way better instructor because you know the difficulties and you can perfectly explain it to a beginner. Imagine that you would never struggle to learn to equalize. How can you teach this to a student? You can't because you're just a natural, so you do not know how to teach someone that has equalization difficulties. So the more you struggle in the beginning, the better you'll be at explaining it later to other people. Question of the day: what was your biggest mistake in terms of equalization that you made as a beginner? Let us know in the comments. And if you want to know more about mastering freediving, then hit the round subscribe button here. And here I have a video about how I hands-free equalize to 33 meters. So go ahead and click on that. That's it, guys. See you next time. Peace in every breath.